someone online briefly was talking about an international swine flu conference, and it referred me to their page, but I couldn't find it on their page, so I thought it was probably a hoax or some type of, somebody just bringing forth some sort of scare. But what I did, and this is, you can find this on the gatheringofchristchurch.com, breaking news, okay? What I found is very disturbing. They have rolled out today was the last day of the International Swine Flu Conference, okay? Now, someone knows more than what they're telling the populace, based on the fact that these FEMA coffins have been in Georgia, on the side of the road in Madison, Georgia, for over a year, okay? And at that time, they was telling the public that it was, they were coffin liners when it first came out. The story was it was coffin liners. And then there were other stories. There was one story that claimed that it was, they were making room in cemeteries, additional room and things of that nature, cemetery construct, because they couldn't explain why these coffins were popping up all around the place. Going back to the International Swine Flu Conference, this is being held on Pennsylvania Avenue. The last day of this is in Washington, D.C. So they've been planning for a mass biological or pandemic, or some type of flu pandemic, before the flu pandemic was actually publicized within the United States. Before the swine flu thing came out earlier this spring, it was already planned for, for mass graves that's aimed towards the urban community. I'm going to show you that it's aimed towards the urban community. I'm looking at this form. Now, the registration date for this form, because I also happened to be, I took the PDF and I copied it, and it was sent to high-level officials that's over the medical institutions in the United States. They're there this weekend in Washington, D.C. It was sent to high medical facilities, school facilities, some church facilities, law enforcement. So they're all there. And clergy, top clergy that are paid by the government is there too. So that means clergy is going to be directing their followers. Okay? Clergy will be directing their members to participate and to go along with the government on this man-made pandemic. And I'm looking at the order form, and this came out earlier this year. And those that would participate with this, what you would call workshop, had to have their applications in by late June to attend this meeting here. Okay. I'm going to show some of this. It's very disturbing. So I downloaded the PDF, which is, and it's August the 21st today. So today is the last day of the workshop, and I'm going to go over what they went over. The International Swine Flu Conference. The International Swine Flu Conference. All the bigwigs and CEOs that participated in this filled out this particular form that we see here to be a part of this. This is your CEOs and your companies and everything. So they can be a part of this for this whole week, into the weekend. Okay? As you can see here, it says, so they can see it there. Here's the form they filled out. As you can see, it says here, International Swine Flu Conference, August 19th through the 20th, 2009. Workshop, August 21st, 2009. So the conferences to get, to get the emergency, the police, the firemen, and all those that's over emergency prepared. Those particular sessions were during the week. And the workshops ended, well, they will end tonight, okay? They're ending as we speak. Okay, now, if someone wants to attend the whole thing, which is the Public Health, Military, and Law Enforcement and Academy, it costs almost $2,000 to be a part of that one. If you wanted to be a part of the Super Early Bird, then that was $2,560 for that one. And the Early Bird was May 31st, 2009. Okay, this is set up your increments of payment. Okay, so if you wanted to pay by June 28th, then you save $105. So here it is. They had this rolled out to where from the beginning of the year up until late June, you could get early bird packages, but you had to have your money in by June. So they rolled this out early, like January or February of this year, so that you can get your seat, so that these high wigs that's in Washington, D.C. could get their seats. Now, what were they discussing in these meetings? That's the question, because you would think something as much as they're publicizing the swine flu, you would think that something this big, international swine flu conferences, people from all over the world, okay, geneticists, physicians, people that deal with schools, psychological management of people, mass people, they're all in Washington, D.C. You would think that this summit or conference would have gotten some airplay on CNN or some, or some big media outlet. If you're going to tell us about this swine flu pandemic on a daily basis and pump that in our heads, you would think that they would tell people that all these guys, all these bigwigs all around the United States and the world is in Washington, D.C. right now, planning for a pandemic. It's August the 21st now. Now, I'm going to go over a few of these, and you can see, listen, you can actually go to thegatheringofchristchurch.com and download the PDF yourself. Okay? You can download the PDF. I got the PDF off the actual company's place that was giving out these, that was allowing their companies to download this application earlier this year. Okay? This is what they're planning on, concurrent breakout sessions to choose from. So if you have applied for this, you would choose to be a part of these workshops. The number one workshop is Mass Fatality Management Plan. The second was Business Continuity Plan, to get businesses continuing. I'm going to show you how this is constructed against the poor and the ignorant of the people that have been dumbed down. Number 3, Emergency Management Services. Number 4, you can be a part of the law enforcement agencies. That was another work session. Number 5, First Responders, Fire Department. So we know that the heads of the fire department and the emergency systems were there. Number 6, First Responders, Public Works. Number 7, 911 call center services. Number 8, Hospital and Emergency Medical Services. Number 9, Workplace Planning. So that means your boss, your CEOs of the company, yeah, they're part of the workshop. They're part of it too. They're the people that allow flu shots in their corporate offices and in their businesses each year, down in their lobbies. Number 10, School, University, and Pandemic Planning. So yeah, the administrators of your school, they were there. Number 11, now this is clear. I want y'all to really look at this. Airline, travel, and airport, quarantine, and border health services. That's another one. Number 12, infectious medical waste. Number 13, swine flu agriculture, perspective and interventions. And then it gives you a little tidbit and many more. Like this is some type of rollout to, to be a part of a power a power lunch or a power speaking or something. This is talking about mass fatality management plan. So whose bodies are they looking to manage? Let's see. This is talking about mass fatality management plan. So whose bodies are they looking to manage? Let's see. Okay. This is just the first page and it's alarming already. Okay. I want to put that out there so that everyone can see that first. Just put it out there for a couple of seconds. You don't have to pan in or nothing. Just, okay. So that people can see exactly what I've just read off. All right. Okay, you had that? Okay. I want to show something here. Because this is very, and they advertising like this is some type of, you know, something that normal people go to. If there's any such thing. It says here, register now because space is limited. Boy, I have to get my money in immediately. I don't want to miss this. Register now because space is limited. So who are these people that can go to something like this? You know, like this is a place to frequent. Like this is something like, yeah, let's go to the conference. Like this is a car show or something. There's more. Your politicians are a part of it, okay? And this is let's make it clear, this is a dictatorship, all right? Congress, Senate, they can't do nothing. All the laws have been pushed through the Patriot Act that makes the presidency the dictatorship. Let's make that clear. So whoever controls the president controls everything. All right? So they don't have to worry about the senators and congressmen getting in the way. All right? So you think you can write your congressman, you can forget it. Here's another thing. Here's page 2. Okay? This is quite disturbing. Let me read this on page 2. And it's the prevention, preparedness, response, and recovery. Topics include mass fatality management plan, surveillance and data management, preparing community strategies, local partnership and participation, delivery of vaccines, and antiviral medication. So these are the workshops they're in. National pandemic influenza medical countermeasures. Socio-economic impact on hog swine industry. Benefit risk assessment. Public health, industry, and regulatory perspectives. Command, control, and management. How can you command the people, control the people, and manage the people is what they're saying here. Emergency response management. Business-based planning. School-based planning. Community-based planning. So what do they mean by school-based planning? Because if it's your child, it affects every family or every household in every community in the United States. Because common sense will tell you, if your child is in school, okay, all the children, who's not going to accept their children back home? So that's where they want to spread the pandemic, through the children. Let me go through this real quick. So I'm going straight to it, to one of the last sessions, concurrent breakdown session 10. Concurrent breakdown session 10. Now check this out. This is what they train your schools, administrators, okay? Your teachers, your principals, this is what they're training to do. Train teachers to screen for symptoms and know what to do when students or teachers fall ill. So if your child come into a school with a common cold, that's a symptom. I don't know. If I'm a teacher, okay, somebody sniffing her. So instead of them telling you to go down to the nurse, which they'll probably do, okay, and calling the parent to come get their child and take them home and take them to a doctor, this is very disturbing. Train teachers to screen for symptoms and know what to do when students or teachers fall ill. The second bullet, transport ill students.
Wow.
Transport ill students. The third bullet, identify when to reduce or close down your school. The fourth bullet, effectively transform school facilities into shelters. Sixth bullet, continue learning through alternative routes like the web, telephone, mail, radio, and on TV. So now we understand why within the last 3 years they've been rolling out the homeschooling projects. And believe it or not, some of the people in the middle class and high class that could afford, you understand, to understand what's going on, they've been pulling their children out of school. And you have to be a homeschool person to understand it, because when you go on these social gatherings, it's the middle or the high class children with your children. Okay, they haven't been promoting homeschool to the poor. The last bullet, communicate effectively with the staff, parents, and students. So first of all, where are you transporting ill students? Into these intermittent camps, which are called concentration camps. They're being processed to prepare for an influenza outbreak. So here's the issue though. They can take your child, okay? Because your child was dealing with some sort of symptoms. Now we know flu symptoms is no different than common cold symptoms. They can transport your child and treat your child without your permission. Yes. Without your permission. And then, you know what they can do? They can shoot your child as part of treatment with the disease. Yes. That's what this is all about. Then after your child is shot, they gave your child the disease.
Right.
They'll look in the database and see exactly where the child lived to understand that this particular pandemic, that they can actually publicize to the public and say, well, you know what? We know where the pandemic is. So they can quarantine the child's house now. So you're going to pick up your child or think that you're getting your child out of quarantine or out of these, what they call shelters or places that they can transport ill students, and you are just as much a threat as your child to the community. So they'll say you go to the glass or the bar or the gate or wherever they have your child and say, listen, I need my child. And they'll say, well, come on in and let's talk about your child. And they'll say, well, listen, we have a problem. Your child has the swine flu, and because of that, you have a problem too, because we don't know if it was spread to you. So we need you to make a phone call. We're going to get some people to your house, and we're going to bring you all here and treat you, because you might have the flu. We don't know. So we're going to treat you with an antiviral just in case. So now they're giving the family the same thing they just gave the child. And this cocktail of swine flu, let me tell you folks, there is no pandemic. That's a bold-faced lie. There's no one you know anywhere that have the swine flu. Okay? This is a engineered, manufactured way of getting the people to take the concoction that they have in the syringe. All right? In the syringe is a deadly virus that was put together in a laboratory. Okay? It's already Baxter and all the other companies that are behind this wicked and evil concoction. have already signed into legislation, have already made an agreement with the government that they cannot be sued for any side effects of the swine flu vaccine.
Wow.
Knowing that when it was rolled out in 1976, that so many people were falling victim, more people died of the vaccines than the swine flu itself. That's number one. Number two, okay, the people started suing the pharmaceutical companies that rolled this garbage out. And this cocktail of swine flu, let me tell you folks, there is no pandemic. That's a bold-faced lie. There's no one you know anywhere that have the swine flu. Okay? This is a engineered, manufactured way of getting the people to take the concoction in this that they have in the syringe. All right? In the syringe is a deadly virus that was put together in a laboratory. Okay? It's already Baxter and all the other companies that are behind this wicked and evil concoction have already signed into legislation, have already made an agreement with the government that they cannot be sued for any side effects of the swine flu vaccine.
Wow.
Knowing that when it was rolled out in 1976, that so many people were falling victim, more people died of the vaccines than the swine flu itself. That's number one. Number two, okay, the people started suing the pharmaceutical companies that rolled this garbage out and were paid billions of dollars, and they settled. So now the companies that are behind this same swine flu, you cannot sue them now for paralyzing or killing your people. It makes it hard for you to breathe. Some people get paralyzed from the neck down. You get serious neurological damage. All right? So the question is, why? Why would they want to do this to the people? And what can we do? Okay? We've been putting this out there for a long time, that the Most High says, come out of my people. It's time, brothers and sisters. Okay? And you want to think that, you know, it doesn't matter what you think. Just stick around if you want. All right? We're going into solution now. Because these people, what they're planning, they don't care about what Bible you're reading. Okay? They don't care what your religion are. They don't care what you worship. The only thing they care is that by you living, you are a future threat to society. That's what they care about. They care about self-existence. Okay? They care about the survival of the fallen doctrine and the wicked ones that are ruling this earth. Okay? And they have infiltrated the people that are selling their own people to Satan. So some of you might ask out there, I don't want to get too far off topic, but some of you may ask, well, why would people want to help participate with the mass destruction of so many people? Why? Because these people are down with Satan. And you have to realize the Most High Spirit is not with a lot of these people in America anymore. This country has purposely turned the people into it's a machine of sinners. All the people are sinners now. So the Most High has separated himself from the people. So what God will you call on when these people roll you into these concentration camps? You've already sinned and continue to sin against the Most High. So Satan, his plan was diabolical, to get the whole earth, especially America, to voluntarily sin against the Most High, so that there'll be no help when they're rolling you into these mass graves. Okay? A lot of people are sinning anyway. They're dead anyway. They're walking dead. We're going to have to come back to the Most High and repent and link back into the Father. That's first off. And we must be aware. We must be aware as a people. We can't walk around dead and sleep anymore. We must stay aware. Warn other people. Let them know that something is happening. Satan's New World Order have been founded, and it's against the chosen people. Okay? I'm going to show you how this affects the poor and the rural people, the rural neighborhoods, because we all know that these people are the children of Israel. Let me go to my board real quick. A capitalistic society must thrive off of continual progress. Like in stock. The stock have to always rise. Doesn't matter the consequence of the people. Alright? I'm going to get to that in a moment. A capitalistic society is what we live in. And it started with slavery. In order for this country to become so great, and the world governments so great, they had to be able to deal with the pool of slaves. Why? Slaves work for pennies on a dollar or nothing, but they produce. Okay? So, that's how this country was established. If you get people to work for nothing, you can capitalize off of the product that comes from this slave labor. That's capitalization. Okay? That's how this country was founded. Who are the slaves? The slaves of the children of Israel. The poor people. The Negroes that was brought over here. They're the slaves. Okay? The Puerto Ricans, the Indians, the people that are just working, the Mexicans. These are slaves. Okay? Now, as long as these people can work for low, pennies on a dollar, then stock will always go up in any company that can get slaves to work within their organization. Okay? But this became barbaric. Slaves or slavery became so barbaric to the point where they had to switch the game. They had to switch how people were perceiving slavery. So they brought in some scientists or psychologists to say, listen, we can still have slaves, but we have to make these people think they're not slaves. We have to change their means of living. They must think that they are part of regular society. Okay? So we have to bring forth a corporate structure. A corporate structure, an all-seeing eye, that the CEO is at the top, the slave is at the bottom, because you know the slave built the pyramids. Alright? So we have to have a system set up to watch these people, a new world order that can help us build, and when these people get aware of what's going on, we can exterminate them all together. There'll be no need, because we will move this capitalization, or this capital government, which they call democracy, all over the earth. So these slaves will become expendable. So what they did was they rolled out a guy named, they rolled out Abraham Lincoln and made you think that they emancipated or freed the slaves. But no, they just changed the order of slavery. They changed it into a corporate employee structure. A corporate employee structure. Yes.
Is that where they introduced the minimum wage?
Yes. So they changed it into a corporate let me spell this a little better here, so y'all can all get me, so I can bring you to today here. And they turned the taskmasters, which were the head slave, into management and assistant managers, and gave them a little piece of the pie. To do what? To oppose and to implement their system against their own. The same way with the so-called quote-unquote house Negroes had privilege. Your assistant managers and managers will go against the employees for the sake of the CEO. Same system. The mental, you can psychologically swallow the new form of slavery. Now, these slaves, right, are now turned to consumers. Consumers. All right? So when slavery was abolished, which they call it, which is a bunch of garbage, okay? When slavery was turned from the barbaric slavery to capitalism, they realized that they could sell this idea to the world and capitalize. So you might wonder why the immigrants outside of the country get more privileges than American-born slaves or children of slaves. Why? Get Revelation, the 18th chapter for me real quick. This goes into your businesses. Your small businesses especially are ran by immigrants. They realized that they could sell this idea to the world and capitalize. So you might wonder why the immigrants outside of the country get more privileges than American-born slaves or children of slaves. Why? Get Revelation, the 18th chapter for me real quick. This goes into your businesses, which your businesses are ran, your small businesses especially, are ran by immigrants. So why do these people get, now I'm going to show you something that you all probably didn't know. The immigrants, the last part of the word immigrants is what?
Grant.
Grants. Grants. So you might wonder why the people within the United States don't get the same grants as immigrants when it comes to setting up business. Because these people have made a covenant with Satan and laid down with Satan to take advantage of the slavery or the capitalistic system that was started here under the one world order. Read Revelation 18. Read it.
Sheesh.
Revelation 18:1. And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit.
It has become the hold of every foul spirit. Read.
And a cage of every unclean and hateful bird.
And a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Read on.
For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
Read it again.
For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
All nations have drunk of the wine of her fornication. All nations have come together to enslave the children of Israel, which are consumers in our society or human resources. Okay? So they're telling you something different, like this is a land of opportunity for all the immigrants to come here and share in the American dream. The American dream was founded on who can take over and control the slaves. So the consumers are the slaves. They're us. So all the nations have agreed to come over with knowledge of who the children of Israel are to be a part of taking over the slave pool. So the businesses that are set up in your neighborhoods, downtown, are primarily who? Immigrants. Okay? So I'm going to show their part in this plan also. In this plan of what you would call the swine flu and all this garbage. We're going to show that in a moment. Okay? Read on.
Verse 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
Go ahead.
And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her.
And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. It's spiritual fornication because they all worship in one God under the all-seeing eye. That's Satan. I don't care what they call their religions. And they all have one thing in common. Keep the children of Israel from ever knowing who they are. Keep them from their God so that we can continue to take advantage of these people as consumers. That's the only thing keeping our people from ever rising from our status. We're disconnected from our God. So not only are these immigrants bringing over their businesses within America and are receiving grants to do it, America is willing to let them come over because they're bringing ideologies and religions with them that will keep us asleep. They're not just setting up businesses, they're bringing ideologies and spiritual fornication here. And what people are flocking into all these immigrants' religions? Arab religions, East Indian religions, Asian religions, Hamitic voodoo religions. What people are being taken advantage of? The consumers, the slaves. Okay? Now, let's get back on point here. So, in slavery, you have the slave quarters, which, you know, and you have the plantations. The plantations, right? And you have the master's quarters. The master's quarters. Excuse my handwriting, this thing is moving all over the place. Right? You have the master's quarters. Right? Now, the plantation now is where you go to work. Right? And the master's quarters, they made the suburbs. So you notice, when the slaves move into a particular area due to, they might have a little class, which they call, they broke things down in classes. Lower class, middle class, higher class, or upper class. So, when you become to a point where you think you have arrived out of your slave, now, of course, that guy that just got arrested because they claimed he broke into his own house is an example of an uppity slave being put in his place. But whenever you feel that you have arrived and you move into the suburbs or move into their territory, they find another area to rebuild and move to. And that area becomes an extended part of the slave quarters. Now, how do this tie in to the International Swine Flu Conference and the plan they have to destroy these people? Okay? Because in Jeremiah 50th and 51st chapter, it says that when this happens, when the destruction starts happening in the earth, which is Jacob's trouble, which is these people's trouble, that all the other nations are going to start going back to their respective countries. So these people are already being briefed that soon it will be time. They started funneling out of the country already. The Asians have become what you would call the warehouses for the stores in our neighborhoods. And they have now made an agreement with the Hispanics to come into the neighborhoods and do the stores now. The Asians are selling everything and going back to their country. So they've been told something also. And the people on your corner stores, which are really Dominicans and Puerto Ricans and different people, Mexicans are getting opportunity they've never been given before. Why? Because they want all these people in the same area together when it's time to round up and destroy. When there's a disaster that can't be controlled in any isolated area, be it the LA riots or what you call Katrina. I don't know why they call it Katrina, because the hurricane had nothing to do with those levees being blue. They should just call it what it is, when the levees were blue. What is the first mobilization of law enforcement? What are they trying to protect first? Businesses. The first thing they say is, we have to protect the businesses to make sure there's no looting. Who are they protecting? The immigrants. Now, we may have a few stores sprinkled around, but 90% of the businesses that are in our neighborhoods are set up with that agreement we've seen in Revelations. It's immigrants. So they're not trying to protect the slaves. The slaves, in any scenario, are the threat. They're the threat. So they protect the businesses first. So who's in these particular conferences? Business owners. How are we going to deal with the pool of slaves in an emergency pandemic? That's number one. Number two, a lot of these companies have what? Something you can't afford. Insurance. So if anything happens to their businesses, they will get insured. That means they'll get bailed out, and they'll have the money to do whatever they want to do outside of the country. That doesn't apply to the slaves or the consumers. Okay? So, when it happens, the business or immigrants will have the first opportunity to be separated and moved out of the way. Now, mind you, none of these people at the conference, not once did I see one bullet of any of these people actually being a threat or receiving the vaccine themselves.
That's right.
Okay? This is how they're going to deal with the populace. Now, so when it comes down to it, we had past videos on the King Alfred's plan that was eventually switched to Rex 84 under Ronald Reagan. When it comes down to it, what will happen here is that the people in the suburbs will be protected, except those few that thought that they could get up into the upper class. Okay? These few, believe it or not, have been watched by authorities for a long time. And they will be moved out of the suburbs, back into the slave quarters. Yes. All right? The same thing applies to the school systems, which is really the training pool for consumers. They're the training pool.
You forgot to say.
Excuse me. Thank you. So all these administrations together are there together today to prepare for this mass pandemic. Today, to prepare for this mass pandemic. I don't know what's wrong with my handwriting right now. Major pandemic. Schools, the businesses, the master's quarters, they know. The only people that don't really understand what's going on are these people. Us, the children of Israel. So when it happens, they're going to quarantine these people. Now, there's something else that's quite disturbing that I want to talk about right now. Because sometimes when we're speaking, the majority of time when we're out speaking, we're just speaking what comes to us through the Holy Spirit. That's what we speak. We just speak what the Lord brings to our mind at the time. And the scriptures back what we're bringing. One thing that we say it all the time in many of the other videos bringing forth prophecy is that soon it's going to come a time where your trucks will not be coming into your neighborhoods bringing you anything. No food, no water, no nothing. Now, mind you, we were speaking this years before we ever seen anything about an international swine flu conference. So we didn't know exactly what event would make this possible. But we knew that according to what the Holy Spirit was bringing forth, that it would come a time, because Jacob's trouble is no food, no water, suffering, plagued with diseases. But we didn't know what particular event would spawn this happening. I want you to really concentrate or really listen to something that backs what the Lord showed us a long time ago. One moment. Under Session 3, Emergency Management Services, on page 3, at the International Swine Flu Conference, it says, prioritize antivirals and personal protective equipment for essential workforce.
Wow.
Overcome reduced response capacity used by mechanical failure and a possible 30 to 40% drop in staff to maintain continuous operation. So you notice within the last couple of years they've had what you would call livestock here in Philadelphia, where cars get stopped and all that. And there's an inordinate number of tow companies now to tow cars. So now they have what they call cash for clunkers. Why? Because these particular clunkers don't have the low jack devices in them or the GPS devices in them to be controlled in a mass pandemic. So your cars have a turn-off mechanism that will stop fuel from getting into your car. It's called low jack. So they want to make sure all the cars can be controlled by computer systems or can be tracked through GPS. That's what this is about. They're not trying to give you money or stimulate the economy with these companies, with these car companies. In actuality, they're just minimizing the risks of those that can be rogue combatants against the New World Order. Here it is right here. Protect the emergency response operations centers. Check out this bullet. Manage interruptions in food, fuel, and essential supply chains, and establish stockpiles. Manage interruptions in food.
That's deep right there.
So we didn't know when the Lord put the Spirit on us to say that soon your houses are going to be rammed into, and that you will be gated off in your communities, and that there will be that you'll have to go to Walmart for anything, and it will be controlled by police. We notice in front of all the Walmarts now you have what? Police. We had no idea about any international swine flu pandemic when the Lord gave us that years ago. We didn't know what would spawn this particular event, but we knew according to the Bible that it would happen. Okay? This is being adjourned in the United States as we speak. This meeting in Washington, D.C. right now. Right now. Okay? So this is aimed at destroying the children of Israel. This is Jacob's trouble, folks. Jacob's trouble. But the Most High is going to save us out of it. Those that are aware. Don't think that your preachers or your pastors are going to be able to let you know what's going on with this. Matter of fact, through each step, these gullible, what I would call taskmasters, are going to just tell you to pray through the whole thing. Don't worry about it. Jesus have you. Let's pray. And after that, they'll let the same politicians they let into their church during the elections, they'll let the same politicians in to calm you down, while in the back or downstairs in the church, they'll be vaccinating and killing your parishioners or the people that are following your religion. Baptists, Mormons, doesn't matter what they are the same things, man. Okay? They're government spawns. They're government, what you would call, they're spiritual government temples. Okay? And what they do is they are constructed to control the people and calm the people during such a time as this. All right? So you brothers and sisters have to wake up. You're going to have to walk away from your religions and follow the Most High, the God of Israel. He's the only one who will help you through this. His name is Ahia. Ahia is his name. You will have to call on the God of the Hebrews. Okay? You brothers and sisters that know that it's your part to stay here through this. Just make sure you protect your children, you protect your family, pray to the Most High, and above all, when they roll out the chip right after this pandemic, because that's something else we've been prophesying for years through the Spirit of the Most High, you better not get that chip. You better not get that chip. That chip will lead to death. Just make sure you protect your children, you protect your family, pray to the Most High, and above all, when they roll out the chip right after this pandemic, because that's something else we've been prophesying for years through the Spirit of the Most High, you better not get that chip. You better not get that chip. That chip will lead to death. Not only your physical death, your spiritual death. Give me Revelations 13 and Revelations 14. Read it, please. Revelations 13 and 14 on that.
Revelations 13 and 14. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast.
And the miracles that they had is their military might, their forces, their missiles, the way they deal with their ingenuity and power. Read.
Saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live.
Go ahead.
And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and causes as many who would not worship the image of the beast shall be killed.
And America has followed the image of the beast. Look at our society now. It's filled with vagrants and straight disobedience against the Most High. This society is a generation of wicked vipers. Okay? Tattoos all over the place. Rock music. People throwing up the Baphomet. Homosexuality at an all-time high. Unchastity. Unrepentant evil. This place is prime for a killing. Everywhere, man. There's no truth or no understanding of the God of the Hebrews in this earth. Especially in this country. So Satan knew that he could not accomplish this mass destruction of a people until these people totally give their spirit over to him and sin against the God of their fathers. So he had to set up a system to make the people sin so that he can have the full authority to kill these people. So you're giving Satan your authority by your sin, your unrepentant lifestyles. Read on.
Verse 16. And he causeth all, both great, small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead.
So now, you're going to become a slave to Satan. That's the next step. You will become a slave to Satan. Okay? So if you love your life, you love what America has to bring, and you are fearful, and you're scared, when the Most High didn't give us the spirit of fear, you're going to break to the will of the fallen one. You're going to break to his will. You're going to bow down and kiss his ring. Okay? That's receiving the mark. And the mark is the RFID chip. It's in the etching of the skin. And receive means as a badge of servitude in the Greek. Read on.
Verse 17. And that no man might buy or sell, save that he had the mark.
So you will not be able to get anything. That's because why? Who's going to be controlling the stockpiles? Satan. So in order to get your handouts, and they have programmed you to receive handouts through welfare. In order to continue to get your handouts, you'll need to get marked by Satan. Read.
Or the name of the beast.
Or the name of the beast. Read.
Or the number of his name.
Or the number of his what?
Or the number of his name.
Or the number of his name, which is what?
Here is wisdom.
Here is wisdom. Understand this wisdom.
Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast.
Here's the number of the beast. This is who in control. Read.
For it is the number of a man.
It's a number of a man. And it's Satan. Satan is that man. Read.
And his number is 666.
666. When you look at the six-pointed star, the inverted star, a triangle up and a triangle down, it's 6 points out, 6 points in, and 6 points in the middle of the hexagram. To let you know what people are executing Satan's rule in the earth. Okay? It's the mark of a man. It's Satan. It's the people that are controlling your monetary resources, that own 75% of the wealth in this earth, that have agreed with Satan to depopulate the earth in hopes of destroying the elect. We're going to tell you something, all you people. It's time for you to back and help the children of Israel. We're your only help in this earth when it comes to the physical part of the Most High. We're your only help. We will call on the God of Israel, and he's going to help. But you're going to have to start understanding what this thing is really about. This thing is about exterminating the only people in the earth that will soon have the power to fight against the New World Order. We are those people, the slaves. That's what time it is, brothers and sisters. You have done it your way. America is done. Your Constitution is finished. Go Revelations 14 and start at the 9th verse.
Revelations 14:9. And the third angel that followed, and the third angel followed him, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High.
So if you do this, brothers and sisters, if you bow to this mark, you will receive some serious spiritual and eternal damage. Irreparable damage. Irreparable damage, brothers and sisters. You have to realize how Satan operates. Satan has a problem with the Most High because he feels that because the Most High didn't give him the chance to repent like he give people. So Satan had to set up a system in which you would do something that was unrepentant to receive his judgment. Read what will happen if they get this chip. Go ahead.
Verse 10. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High.
Go ahead.
Which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels.
You see that? That's what the Most High says. So if you get this chip, if you're bold enough to stay here, you better not get this chip. Take whatever comes with denying it. Okay? So if you're going to stay here, that's fine. Don't take this chip. Okay? And we've been hearing ignorant replies back. And I'm saying ignorant not to belittle anyone. These are people that are ignorant of what the scriptures is saying. They're ignorant of it because their preachers are not teaching it. The schools are not teaching it. So they don't know. So they'll come up with new ways of just sitting pat while Satan is preparing to destroy them. Well, you got to die sometimes. That's an ignorant statement. Ignorant. Well, who's to say that it can't happen over there? The Most High said, come out of her. If you believe that the Bible is real, then the Most High will be with you. If you follow the voice, he'll protect you over there. How can he protect you in a place that he said he's going to destroy? Wake up. Well, what about the poor? You know, what about the people that can't afford to go? Don't you think the Most High know about the poor and the people that can't afford to go? What you gonna do? Get Isaiah the 61st chapter. What are you gonna do? We're bringing. Let me tell you. These are facts, folks. There's a conference going on right now that's going to deal with millions of people dying. Let me get this other part here, in case they think that we're making this up. Mass fatality management planning. Mass fatality management planning.
That's all you need for us, bro. That's enough that.
Let's see the bullets of this particular workshop. Here's the bullets of that particular workshop. Develop and maintain plans, procedures, programs, and systems. Develop and implement training and exercise programs. Direct fatality management tactical operations. Activate fatality management operations. To let you know that it must be in place if they're going to direct them. Law enforcement agencies, everyone have been briefed except the slaves. Conduct morgue operations. Manage ante-mortem data. That means they have to manage the data from all the dying.
Exactly.
Conduct final disposition. That's your FEMA camps, or what you call the mass graves. Mass fatality management planning. Mass fatality management planning.
That's all you need for us, bro. That's enough that.
Let's see the bullets of this particular workshop. Here's the bullets of that particular workshop. Develop and maintain plans, procedures, programs, and systems. Develop and implement training and exercise programs. Direct fatality management tactical operations. Activate fatality management operations. To let you know that it must be in place if they're going to direct them. Law enforcement agencies, everyone have been briefed except the slaves. Conduct morgue operations. Manage ante-mortem data. That means they have to manage the data from all the dying.
Exactly.
Conduct final disposition. That's your FEMA camps, or what you call the mass graves. So you see the play on words? Conduct final disposition. Like, what are we going to do with the dead? That's your final disposition, folks. Dead. This is a regular workshop that the poor wasn't privileged to know about. That CNN felt that there was no need to report something as, as important as a session, an international conference on the swine flu. The only thing you can report is that the poor will suffer the consequences of taking this particular vaccine. Oh yeah, we have to scare the public into taking something you know is killing them. You brothers and sisters better wake up. Why are we doing this? Why are we teaching this? This is love. This is love, brothers and sisters. Be aware. Read Isaiah 61 to show you that the Most High have the poor. So we don't want to hear that statement no more either. Well, what about the people that can't afford to go? We don't want to hear that. Okay? You're gonna, and when it happens, and a pandemic happens, and you can't travel anywhere, you're going to try to do what you can to get out at that time. So why can't you do it beforehand? Let me tell you, when it comes to survival, you're surprised. Listen, you'll be surprised what you can do. Okay? And your army will not help you. Your military will not help you. The international UN forces are on our soil right now that have no emotional attachment to Americans. Read Isaiah 61:1. Wake up.
Isaiah 61:1. The Spirit of the Lord power is upon me.
The Most High Spirit is upon us. Read.
Because the Lord hath anointed me. Preach good tidings unto the meek.
So we here to preach the good tidings to the meek. That soon we will not suffer the oppression and the evil of this society. That's what we're teaching here. Read.
He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted.
So the Most High has sent his teachers under Christ to bind up the brokenhearted. That means your mind has been broke. The heart is not talking about the vessel that pumps blood. It's talking about your mind. Religion that broke you. Oppression that broke you. Read.
To proclaim liberty to the captives.
We're here to proclaim liberty to the captives. You've been captive in your mind. They've taken the shackles off of you. And now the shackles are here. You're programmed through your media. That's what's keeping the shackles on you. To make you think that there's a future for this place. While everything is crumbling right around you. Wake up. And wake up. Operate in the real world for a change. Look at what's happening. Everyone is losing their jobs all at once. The banks are bailing up. All the rich rigs that were in this conference were bailed out and corporations are set up in another country. Your president, who don't have enough money to sustain the country, have promised Africa billions and billions of dollars. If the country's broke, where is he getting the money? Wake up. Babylon the Great is fallen. It's fallen. Read.
And the opening of the prison to them that are bound.
So the Most High is going to open your prison. In order for you to come out of this place physically, you must first open up your mind and understand what's happening. This is the prison that you need to be loose from. The shackles they put on your mind. Read.
Verse 2. To proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord.
And we're here to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord. We're here to depopulate the people or to destroy our people before Christ comes, because they know Christ is coming to set up the meek, the poor, the lost sheep of the house of Israel. They know this, that this government will be an Israelite government and all nations will flow into it. So Satan is trying to destroy the people and depopulate the whole earth of the children of Israel before the Most High set them up. That's the reason they're depopulating the earth. Okay? It's aimed towards a specific people. Wake up. It always has been. Okay? And this kingdom is not going to be like this kingdom where we're going to come against people because of their race. Okay? When the wicked is in authority, the people mourn. But when the righteous bear rule, the people rejoice. We're going to treat people like they should be treated. You better wake up, folks. Believe it or not, the same people you thought were degenerates, God's people, they're really your last source. They're really your last resort. You're going to have to help these people you once looked down on. Because the Most High has been dealing with these people a long time. A long time. But now we're here. The children of Israel is here. It is not to boast. We're here to do our job for mankind. And it's going to be rough. But to let you know that the Most High says we have to proclaim liberty to those which are in prison. The poor. Those that can't afford to do things. We're doing it first by liberating their minds. So all of you saying that what about the poor and all that? The Most High have them. What are you going to do? How can you talk about saving anybody when you can't even deal with yourself?
Right.
Read.
And the day of the vengeance of our God, to comfort all that mourn.
The what?
to comfort all that
before
mourn.
that the vengeance of our what?
And the day of the vengeance of our God.
They know that our God is coming back a higher. He's sending his son Yeshua with pure vengeance. So they have prepared their fort in space. They're preparing a mass depopulation. Only those that are down with the one world order and the mindset to fight against what's coming out of the sky will live through this. That's what they're planning. Anyone that opposes a new world order is a threat and will break down their system that they have set to destroy what's coming out of the sky. Read on.
To comfort all that mourn.
That comfort all that mourns. So Christ is here to comfort us. Not to be afraid. We have something there within us that we can utilize if we come together spiritually. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal. All you people that are preparing guns and all that, you're wasting your time. You cannot beat this man with guns. Read.
Verse 3. To appoint unto them that mourn in Zion.
To appoint in them that mourn in who?
To appoint to them that mourn in Zion.
That mourn in Zion. Zion is the children of Israel, folks. And these immigrants over here, they are admitting it now. That they know that the Negroes and these Indian tribes are the children of Israel. They know it. That was their agreement to come over here and take advantage of you. To keep you asleep. So we have to start helping these people that mourn in Zion. The Most High Spirit will rest on these people. Will rest on these particular people they're trying to kill right now. And why are they aiming at America first? Because America is predominantly Judah. The slaves that came over here are from the tribe of Judah. They're the head tribe. They're the same tribe Christ came out of. They are the leaders. So they must try and aim their destruction at the leader first. And then they're going to move this destruction all through the earth. But first it's happening here. That's why the Most High is saying, come out of my people. There's a remnant of Judah that will lead this charge. Judah must be gathered first so that the other tribes cannot magnify himself against them. Come out of my people. There's a remnant of Judah that will lead this charge. Judah must be gathered first so that the other tribes cannot magnify himself against them. We cannot be gathered here. We have to go someplace else and prepare. Together. Then we'll lead the charge. You nations, you Gentiles, you must help us. You must help us. Help yourself. Because you put everything you have into a system that have betrayed you. We're your last line of resource. We're the children of Israel. And we're here to proclaim liberty and let you know that the God of Israel will protect those that follow the voice. There's other things I wanted to bring, but I wanted to bring that out. We need to talk about preparation. You have to realize in Leviticus the 11th chapter, swine is an abomination to the Most High to the point where it's one of the only animals where he don't even want his people to touch. Why? Because it's filthy. It was made strictly for waste. Okay, you wonder why the earth is fighting against us with all these diseases. We're eating the things that should be eating the diseases out of the earth. Pigs were made to eat the diseases and die of the diseases. And then you bury them. That was our natural waste system. It wasn't no stockpiles of trash all over the place. The earth used to help itself and regenerate itself. That's what swines were for. You had a herd of swine to kill all the diseases in the earth. That's what it was made for. And see, the Most High made the pig so perfect as waste. It made it so that all the infirmities stay on the inside. He made it so that it don't even sweat. It have no sweat glands. So that it don't get out to the populace, the diseases in it. And there's this little place at the bottom of its hoof where the pus oozes out. That's the diseases coming out of the pig. So the pig was made as a natural garbage disposal. So if you do it this way, then the pig helps the earth. You understand? So it says, let's don't even touch its carcass because that's a diseased animal. So Satan used this particular animal that the Most High specifically said don't touch as a delicacy for the Gentiles to push on God's people. And when our people were brought over here in slavery, they made us eat not only the pig, but the waste of the pig, the organs and the intestines of the pig, in total defiance of our God. In the book of Maccabees, it shows our brothers being slain because the king, the Caesar, the king of the Greeks, wasn't Caesar at the time, but the king of the Greeks, for sport, was making our people eat swine, and we defied it, so they killed us right before the people, like public spectacles. So the desolation of abomination was key because not only did they sack Jerusalem, they opened up the pig and sacrificed the pig on the Most High's altar. And now they're attempting to shoot all the people with swine.
That's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Okay? So the desolation of abominations happened in 70 AD. Satan came down knowing that he had a short time. Go to Revelations 12 for me first, please, brother. Then let's get to Thessalonians. Y'all have a second? Okay.
You said Revelations also?
Revelations,
12.
the 12th chapter. I'll tell you what, why don't I touch on it just a little bit of the stuff. Just a little bit, just enough. All right? Let's get Mark 13. Let's start at the 13th verse to show you how this link into the gospel and to the church that's teaching today. Read Mark 13 and 13.
Mark 13 and 13. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved.
So we will be hated of all men for the Most High's name's sake. So we understand why people are coming against us with the name. That's part of the prophecy. Because everyone is calling on Satan. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So we must endure unto the end. We know that it's going to be some hard tribulation once we leave this country, but we must endure to the end. Read the 14th verse.
Verse 14. But when ye shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, standing where it ought not, let him that readeth understand. Then let him that be in Judea flee into the mountains.
So we fled into the Atlas Mountains when this happened. When it says standing where it ought not. Satan is not supposed to be on or in Israel or in Jerusalem. He's standing where he ought not. This is a mystery, so that's why it says, let him that readeth understand. Everyone is not going to understand that. The desolation was Satan setting himself up at that time. Okay? And had the Romans sacrifice pigs on our altar. And those that took heed to Christ's prophecy fled into Africa, or the Atlas Mountains, and made their way westward.
What's the Atlas Mountain?
The Atlas Mountain is between Europe, it's right there between Europe, Israel, and Africa. It's right on the cusp, right there. They ran in there around Morocco, and then they started migrating into Africa. Okay? And that's those that took heed to the prophecy. You have to realize, a vast majority didn't believe they had to go anywhere. And they were slain by the Romans. That's Messiah. Okay? So let's go into it for a second. Go to Revelations 12 and hold Thessalonians.
repeated the prophecies left until they were, until other people came and got them.
How many years between the time we left in 70 AD and the time where the slaves, where the ships started coming against us? Okay, you're talking about, it was probably about 1,203 score years. 1,260 years. Because don't forget, you put 70 on it, and that's about the 1400s right there. It's near the 1400s now. And that's when that's when the Spirit came on the nations to start coming against us in those areas in Africa.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. One moment. Okay. Let's start at the 12th verse.
Revelations 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell therein, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time.
So the devil don't care about the Most High's creation. Once Christ got full power, the devil started coming down on our people, knowing that he had a short time. So once Christ got the full victory through his sacrifice, Satan's clock started ticking. He had a short amount of time to build his tower again, to try to get into space and fulfill his so-called promise of taking down the Most High. Read on.
Verse 13. But when the dragon saw that he was cast into the earth,
Hold up.
he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child.
The woman that brought forth the man-child is the children of Israel. It was the Israelites that brought forth Christ. So this woman is the children of Israel. This is the physical persecution that happened to us in 70 AD, the desolation of abomination. This is the physical persecution that happened to us in 70 AD, the desolation of abomination. Our people were slaughtered by the Romans that didn't take heed to this prophecy. So when they talk about this as a church, that's madness. Nowhere in the scriptures it says the church. The people that bear the man-child is Israelites. He came out of an Israelite woman. Okay? Read on.
Verse 14. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness.
That she might do what?
That she might fly into the wilderness.
So once the desolation of abomination, right before that happened, those that took heed to Christ's prophecy that's written of in Mark the 13th chapter and the 14th verse, they fled into the wilderness, which is Africa. Because who prepared a place in Africa for us? Let's see, read.
And to her place, where she is nourished for a time, and times, and a half a time, from the face of the serpent.
So we had to run into Africa because the face of the serpent was destroying us. From the face of the serpent. That lets you know where Satan was doing his destruction from. The place he took down, Jerusalem. From the face of the serpent. Who took Israel down? The Romans. The Romans. So who was being utilized by Satan? The Romans. So how can you expect their religion to bring you back to Christ? They're in bed with the serpent. Read on.
Verse 15. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman.
Those are lies from the religion, the great religion, the Roman Catholic Church. A flood overtakes a person. So they set up missionaries to convert the children of Israel that fled from the face of the serpent. These religions were not to convert the other nations. They were already dealing with Satan. These missionaries are to find us. And you hear these churches bragging, well, we have a mission in Africa and doing, no. This is that flood you're doing all in those areas you haven't hit yet. Continuing the flood from the Great War. from the Roman Catholic Church. Read.
And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman.
After the woman is the children of Israel. Read.
That he might cause her to be carried away of the flood.
So they set up religion to overtake us. That's the flood. Some of us don't know which way is up based on all the religions that's in the earth. That's the flood. To confuse God's people. Read.
And the earth helped the woman.
The earth did what?
And the earth helped the woman.
The earth helped our people. Why? There's records that were hid in the earth by our foreparents, the children of Israel. The Essenes and the Qumran caves. All the records that the Jewish people, and as soon as they find it, stake claim to. And those are our records. The book of Enoch, the book of Jasher, all these different records that came out of the earth helped us because it do what? It destroyed the lies or the philosophy of the Roman Catholic Church. And give understanding to the Bible, the same understanding these philosophers don't want the populace to have. Read.
And the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood with the dragon cast out of his mouth.
So with this truth, with this information, we can swallow up all the lies of the Roman Catholic Church. Easy. Because the Roman Catholic Church and Christianity don't teach the Bible. They teach Roman philosophy. It's easy to tear them down. Because what they're dealing with is Roman psychology and Roman philosophy. Okay? What are they teaching Plato in theologian seminary colleges for? They teach philosophy, psychology in seminary colleges. Yes. Read on.
Verse 17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman.
So the dragon was mad at the woman. Why? Because Christ came from us. So he was going to destroy anything that made Christ. Now you understand the reason for the depopulation. This is the end of our tribulation. Our tribulation really started in 70 AD. There's no such thing as no 7-year tribulation. We've been in tribulation ever since we left our homeland, Palestine, Jerusalem. Read on.
And went to make war with the remnant of her seed.
Why it says the remnant of her seed? Because there was a few out of Israel, that's a remnant of those that escaped. The Romans took advantage and threw the rest of the people in arenas and Hellenized them and destroyed them. So there's a remnant that escaped that Satan is after. Let's see the spirit of that remnant. Read.
Which keep the commandments of the Most High.
So they're after those that are keeping the commandments of the Most High. You know that's not Christians. The Christians believe that the commandments are done away with. So the serpent is not even dealing with them. He already got them. He's after those that keep the commandments of the Most High and what?
And have the testimony of Yeshua.
And have the testimony of our Savior Yeshua. So he's not even after the Christians. He already have them. He's after those that follow the truth of Christ and keep the commandments of the Most High. So he's trying to finish what he started in 70 AD with the desolation of abomination. Drop everything and go to 2 Thessalonians for me.
That's easy.
Read the first verse.
2 Thessalonians 2:1. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Yeshua, by the gathering together unto him.
That's why we call ourselves the Gathering of Christ Church. Because it's not about one man. We're gathering to Christ, to Yeshua.
What scripture is that? No,
2 Thessalonians 2:1. So in order to fight this new world order, we must gather together in one mind. We're members of the same body. Christ, Yeshua gave us, he gave us some key information when he told us a nation divided against itself cannot stand. So Satan thrives off individualism and separatism. He knows that once we come together, he cannot battle us spiritually. Read.
Verse 2. That ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as the day of Christ is at hand.
The day of Christ is at hand. We're in the time of the coming of our Lord. So they'll lie to you. They're ready to kill everyone now because Satan ran out of time. And see, and the Most High is so great, He shortened the time that Satan had to rule. Oh, they get Matthew 24 and 12. Read the 22nd verse.
And except those days should be shortened.
So except Christ shortened the days that Satan had to rule. Don't forget that he came down on our people knowing that he had a short time. Read that part again for me, please.
Matthew 24 and 22. And except those days be shortened.
Except the Most High shortened Satan's days, read.
There should no flesh be saved.
No one would be left here. So those that don't believe in Christ, you better start believing quickly. Because He's the only way. He's the only way we're going to make it through this. Because if it wasn't for Him, Satan would have his way with all of us. If the Most High didn't shorten this man's time, Satan's time, no flesh would be saved. That's the depopulation program under the New World Order. To get rid of the elect. Us. Read.
But for the elect's sake.
For the whose sake?
For the elect's sake.
For the elect's sake. Read.
Those days shall be shortened.
Those days that the New World Order is established, that they think they have, the time they have, the Most High is going to shorten those days. So we're not afraid of no New World Order. Christ is going to bring the real universe order. Okay? The new universe order is the threat to the New World Order. And that's what our Lord is bringing back, and He's shortened Satan's time. So we're not afraid. Okay? Who is the elect? Hold that and get Isaiah 45 and 4. You got Thessalonians, right? Mm-hmm. Read Isaiah 45 and 4. Let's see who the Lord is shortening Satan's time for. Read.
Isaiah 45 and 4. And Jacob my servant's sake.
Jacob was our father. For Jacob, the Most High's servant's sake. Read.
And Israel, mine elect.
And Israel, mine what?
Mine elect.
He's shortening the time for His people Israel, His elect. Yes, He made all people, but He elected one to give His commandments to. We're the children of those people that walk through the Red Sea. And it's for us, the Most High is going to shorten Satan's time because the destruction is aimed towards us. Knowing that we would be at the end teaching the truth and liberating the people to fight against this one world order. Read.
But for the elect's sake.
For the whose sake?
For the elect's sake.
For the elect's sake. Read.
Those days shall be shortened.
Those days that the New World Order is established, that they think they have, the time they have, the Most High is going to shorten those days. So we're not afraid of no New World Order. Christ is going to bring the real universe order. Okay? The new universe order is the threat to the New World Order. And that's what our Lord is bringing back, and He's shortened Satan's time. So we're not afraid. Okay? Who is the elect? Hold that and get Isaiah 45 and 4. You got Thessalonians, right? Mm-hmm. Read Isaiah 45 and 4. Let's see who the Lord is shortening Satan's time for. Read.
Isaiah 45 and 4. And Jacob my servant's sake.
Jacob was our father. For Jacob, the Most High's servant's sake. Read.
And Israel, mine elect.
And Israel, mine what?
Mine elect.
He's shortening the time for His people Israel, His elect. Yes, He made all people, but He elected one to give His commandments to. We're the children of those people that walk through the Red Sea. And it's for us, the Most High is going to shorten Satan's time because the destruction is aimed towards us. Knowing that we would be at the end teaching the truth and liberating the people to fight against this one world order. Okay? Let's go back to Thessalonians. Two and 3.
Verse 3.
Read it again. Read the third verse.
Let no man deceive you by any means.
Let no man deceive you by any means, brothers and sisters. It's man that brought you philosophy and religion. Stick with the Bible. Let no man deceive you by any means. Read.
For that day shall come.
That they shall what?
For that day shall not come.
That they shall not come is except what?
Except there come a falling away first.
And tell me the people haven't fallen away. No one believes in the Most High no more. No one is reading the Bible no more. Everyone is turning into atheists now. Or dealing with the New Age movement. For that day shall not come except there come a falling away first. Read.
And that man of sin be revealed.
That man of sin is Satan. Stop looking at the Pope. The Pope is a piece used by Satan. Okay? Satan is that man, and he's being revealed. And through the Spirit of the Most High, this understanding that's in this book, we know exactly where he resides. And how he gave power to the Jewish Kabbalists you see today. Which are no different than the Babylonian worshippers in the temple of ancient Babylon. They're not dealing with the Torah and the Tanakh. They're dealing with the Kabbalah. They're sorcerers. Satan has given them their power, and they have masked themselves by covering themselves as the children of Israel. That's a charade. So that you can't see what they're really dealing with. Read on.
And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
That son of perdition. Read.
Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High.
Go ahead.
Or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
So Satan is over there. Yes, he's dealing directly with the Dalai Lama. These are his top sorcerers. And we know what spirit is in the Pope, the same spirit that was from the ancients. Okay? When one Pope died, the spirit goes from one Pope to the next. It's the same God. So you wait for one Pope to pop up when the same spirit moves from Pope to Pope. Wake up. This thing is spiritual. We're not wrestling with flesh and blood. Read on.
Verse 5. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things.
So Paul says, listen, you have to remember that he told us these things. So we have to remember what Paul wrote to understand what's going on in our times. Read.
Verse 6. And now ye know that withholdeth that he might be revealed in his time.
So everything is being withheld until he's revealed in his time. Who will reveal him? The elect. Who would expose him? The elect. The Christian church is not exposing the truth of Christianity.
No.
That's the problem. The flood that came from the serpent's mouth. So they're not exposing themselves. Read on.
Verse 7. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work.
So stop waiting for one guy to pop up. Paul told you back then that the mystery of iniquity doth already work. He was working back in Paul's time. Read.
Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way.
So the Most High is letting Satan operate until Christ takes him out of the way. So the Most High is letting this happen, so that Israel can be tried through the fire, like pure gold. Only those that follow this word and follow the commands of the Most High will be refined. Read.
Verse 8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, when the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, even him who is coming after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness.
And it says with the power of Satan, and you know that's the Pope right there, because that's who power he's using. He's using Satan's power. That's the spirit that's in the Pope. So when it says that Satan and the false prophet will be burned in the lake of fire, it's talking about the spirit that's in the Pope. The Pope's body is nothing more than a host. Once they do that ritual, that 7 days of black smoke, and then on the last day, that white smoke, that's a movement or a seance so the Spirit can move from one pope to the next, so that he can be a host of that ancient Babylonian spirit. That spirit must be destroyed. Read.
Verse 10. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness and them that perish.
Those that don't want to deal with the truth, because you're unrighteous and don't want to do right. So now, because of your unrighteousness, you don't want to believe the Bible is true. Some of these people out here. Read.
Because they receive not the love of the truth.
Because it takes love to sacrifice yourself so that people can get the truth. So because you don't want to receive the love of this truth, the fact that Christ shed his blood so that one day you can receive this truth, read on.
That they might be saved. And for this cause the Most High shall send them strong delusion.
That's why most people are not going to make it through this. You're under a delusion. And if you're under the Christian churches, you're definitely delusional. So you shall believe a delusion. That's anything they give you. Read.
That they should believe a lie.
And you're going to believe a lie. The H1N1 vaccine is here to help you. That the government, you should follow the government and the laws of the government. The same government that have killed you and enslaved you and have betrayed you. Read.
Verse 12. That they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but have pleasure in unrighteousness.
And you don't believe, and that's the reason a lot of these people out here don't believe the truth. You have pleasure in your unrighteousness. If you dealt with the truth, that would mean you would need to change. So because you enjoy your individualism that Satan gave you, you'd rather believe the Most High don't exist so you can continue to sin. Those are the people that's going to die in mass numbers here in America. Dealing with the hip-hop lifestyle and chasing money and dealing with evil and marking yourself with tattoos and just dealing with art and sexual activity, unrepentant sin, and don't care to repent. So if you're sinning and you're deep in sin, you don't have no time to hear the voice or hear the words of the Most High to save yourself in the day of the coming of our Lord.